all the Jivatmas are called as Sanatana. The Supreme Lord is called as Sanatana, which means eternal. And the Lord, the spiritual world from where we all came, it's called as Sanatana as well. So any minute from now, we're going to be standing up and singing this beautiful Aarti. And as I told you the meaning of the mantra, so this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is a prayer. We are praying to Radharani and Krishna. Please accept me and please engage me in your devotional service. Okay, so that is the meaning of the mantra. So we can request everyone to stand up for the Aarti. Hare Krishna. You can come front. We got first class seats in the front. Everybody is welcome to come in. Come forward. So let's sing for the pleasure of Radha Gokula. Jai Shri Radha Gokula Nanda ki. Jai Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki. Gaura Nitai ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya. The lyrics are there on the TV screen up. Srimadi Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Pashacya Deshatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya, Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram, Patita Pavana Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Jaya Sitaram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Gauranita, 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 Jaya Gauranita. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol. We request everyone to put your hands up in the air. Jai Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Jai Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Gauranitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna everyone, thank you for joining us for the Aarti during this very auspicious month of Purushottam. So we're going to be offering our obeisances to Guru Parampara. So if you got some space, please bow down. We are offering, this is for our Guru Parampara. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajika Acharya Stotra Sata Srimadi's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajika Acharya Stotra Sata Srimadi's Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardham ki. Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai ki. Tulsi Maharani Bhakti Devi ki. Vrindavan Dham Mathura Dham ki. Mayapur Dham Navadip Dham ki. Bhaktivedanta Manor Dham ki. Jagannath Puri Dham ki. Harinama Sankirtan ki. Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. We humbly request everyone, please be seated. We're going to be singing in the Narasimha prayer.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladadaine Hiranyakashipurvakshaha Shilatankanakalaye Itor Nashimha Parato Nashimha Itor Nashimha Parato Nashimha Yato Yato Yamitato Nashimha Yato Yato Yamitato Nashimha Bahe Nashimha Hridaye Nashimha Bahe Nashimha Hridaye Nashimha Bahe Nashimha Hridaye Nashimha Nashimha Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapade Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapade Prapade Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapade Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tano Bringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Hare Jaya Nashingadev Jaya Nasimhadev Nashingadev Jaya Nashingadev Narasimhadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Nitai Gora Haribol, 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 Nitai Gora Haribol. Nitai Gora Haribol, Nitai Gora Haribol, 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 Nitai Gora Haribol. Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki, Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Pramanande.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna everyone. As you, we are going to be singing a beautiful bhajan called Chastikam. Chor means thief. And who's the king of all thieves? The butter thief, Lord Krishna. The beautiful pastimes of Lord Krishna is the butter thief. And not only that, he steals not only butter, but he steals all our anxieties, all our sins, and takes away everything and gives us pure joy. So we're going to be singing this beautiful bhajan. As you all know, Lord Ram is called as Maryad Purushottam, but Lord Krishna is called as Leela Purushottam. So many Leelas, isn't it? So many beautiful pastimes of the Lord. And whenever we talk about Lord Krishna as a Bala Gopala and about Mother Yashoda, we bring a lot of joy to our heart, isn't it? The beautiful pastime. So we're going to be, Prabhuji is going to be singing this Chastikam. The lyrics are there on the TV screen. So we're all going to be singing that. So you're most welcome to join us and sing along. And we're going to be doing a call and response. So Prabhuji is going to sing and we're going to repeat after him. Right? So that's called as, bhajan is called as Chastikam. Chora means thief. And Astakam is 8 prayers, 8 different verses. Please join us. Hare Krishna.
So the lyrics, the Sanskrit words, they're on the screens. Please follow along. We'll go line by line. There are 4 lines in each verse. Raje prasidham navanita chauram Raje prasidam navanita chauram Gopangananam chadukula chauram Gopangananam chadukula chauram Gopangananam chadukula chauram Aneka janma jita papa chauram. Chauragraganyam purusham namami. Shri Radhikaya Hridayasya Chauram. Shri Radhikaya Hridayasya Chauram. Navam Buddha Shamalakanti Chauram. Navam Buddha Navam Buddha Shamalakanti Chauram. Padashritanam Chasamasta Chauram. Padashritanam Chasamasta Chauram. Chauragraganyam Purusham namami. Chauragraganyam Purusham namami. Akinchanani Akinchani Kritya Padashrityam ya. Akinchani Kritya Padashrityam ya. Karoti Bhikshum Patigehahinam. Karoti Bhikshum Patigehahinam. Kenapyahobi Shana Chaura Idag. Kenapyahobi Shana Chaura Idag. Dushta Shrutova Na Jagatrayepi. Dushta Shrutova Na Jagatrayepi. Dushta Shrutova Na Jagatrayepi. Yadiya nama piharatya shesham. Yadiya nama piharatya shesham. Yadiya nama piharatya shesham. Yadiya nama piharatya shesham. Giri prasaran api paparashin. Giri prasaran api paparashin. Ascharya rupo nanu chaura idag. Ascharya rupo nanu chaura idag. Dushta shrutova namaya kadapi. Dushta shrutova namaya kadapi. Dushta shrutova namaya kadapi. Dushta shrutova namaya kadapi. Dhanam chamanam Shatathendriyani. Dhanam shamanam Shatathendriyani. Dhanam shamanam Shatathendriyani. Dhanam shamanam Shatathendriyani. Pranamscha hritva mama sarvameva. Pranamscha Palayase kutra dhritodya chaura. Palayase kutra dhritodya chaura. Tvam bhaktidam nasi maya niruddha. 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 Chinatsi ghoram Yamapashabandham. Chinatsi ghoram Yamapashabandham. Bhinatsi bhimam Bhavapashabandham. Bhinatsi bhimam Bhavapashabandham. Chinatsi sarvasya samastabandham. Chinatsi sarvasya samastabandham. Naivatmano bhakta kritam tu bandham. 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 Manmana setam asarashi ghore. Manmana setam asarashi ghore. Manmana setam asarashi ghore. Asarashi ghore. Karagrihe dukkha Maya nibadha. Karagrihe dukkha Maya nibadha. Labhasvahe chaura hare chiraya. Labhasvahe chaura hare chiraya. Svachaurya dosho chitam eva dandam. Svachaurya dosho Svachaurya dosho chitam eva dandam. Svachaurya dosho chitam eva dandam. Karagrihe vasasada hridaye mariye. Karagrihe vasasada hridaye mariye. Mad bhakti pasha dhrita bandhana nishchalasan. Mad bhakti pasha dhrita bandhana nishchalasan. Tvam Krishna he pralaya kotishatantarepi. Tvam Krishna he pralaya shantarepi. Sarvasva chaura hridayan nahi mochayami. 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 Vraje prasidam navanita chauram gopangananam chadukula chauram. Vraje prasidam navanita chauram gopangananam chadukula chauram. Aneka janma jita papa chauram chauragraganyam purusham namami. Aneka janma jita papa chauram chauragraganyam Aneka janma jita papa chauram chauragraganyam purusham namami. Aneka janma jita papa chauram chauragraganyam purusham namami. So now we'll read the translation. Mataji, would you like to begin? Would you like to begin reading the translation? I'll give you the mic. We'll share. We'll share the duties of the translation.
You want me to do two? Just one, okay. Hare Krishna. I offer my respectful obeisances to that foremost of thieves, who is famous in Vraja as the butter thief, and he who steals the gopis' clothes, and who, for those who take shelter of him, steals the sins which have accrued over many lifetimes.
I offer my respectful obeisances to the foremost of thieves, who steals Srimati Radharani's heart, who steals the dark lustre of the fresh rain cloud, and who steals all the sins and sufferings of those who take shelter of his feet.
He turns his surrendered devotees into paupers and wandering homeless beggars. Alas, such a fearsome thief has never been seen or heard of in all the three worlds.
Mere utterance of his name purges one of a mountain of sins. Such an astonishingly wonderful thief I have never seen or heard of anywhere.
O thief, having stolen my wealth, my honor, my senses, my life, and my everything, where can you run to? I have caught you with the ropes of my devotion.
You cut the terrible noose of Yamaraj. You sever the dreadful noose of material existence. And you slash everyone's material bondage. But you are unable to cut the knot fastened by your own loving devotees.
O stealer of my everything, O thief, today I have imprisoned you in the miserable prison house of my heart, which is very fearful due to the terrible darkness of my ignorance, and there for a very long time you will remain, receiving appropriate punishment for your crimes of thievery.
O Krishna, thief of my everything, the noose of my devotion remaining forever tight, you will continue to reside in the prison house of my heart, because I will not release you for millions of aeons. Hare Krishna.
Shri Chastikam ki, Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Srila Bilvamangala Thakur ki. Jai. So there's a very nice verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam, spoken by Lord Brahma, the chief engineer of this universe. He says, Gyanai parasam urapasya namanta eva, jivanti san mukaritam bhavadiyavartam, stane stita shrutikatam tanavang manobhir, ye praya sho jita jito pyasitais trilokyam. And this means that the Lord, who is unconquerable, he can actually be conquered. But how can he be conquered? Just as in this song, we've learned that Krishna can be bound by the devotion. He's unable to cut the knot of devotion that is tied to him by his devotees. So in the same way, he is conquered by his devotees who dedicate their body, their mind, and their words to descriptions of the Lord, narrated, spoken by great devotees. And therefore, we're going to try to do that for the next hour by hearing all about Krishna from Srila Prabhupada, who wrote many books about the Lord, not the least of which is our Krishna book. So we're going to be reading from Krishna book, picking up where we left off yesterday. The next chapter is called Krishna Marries 5 Princesses. So, for those of you who want to, I know it's a very sunny day. That's either a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you handle the heat. But for those of you that are staying in the temple room, we're going to be picking up Krishna book where we left off. And also we have devotees listening online. This is not a formal class, and we welcome reflections and realizations and even questions regarding what we're hearing. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Nama Om Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachayane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtatya Shatarine Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Murirayet Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So yesterday we heard the story of the killing of Satrajit and Shatadanva. And in this way, the Syamantaka jewel was salvaged and placed in the care and under the control of King Ugrasena in Dwarka. Okay, chapter 3 of volume 2 is called 5 Queens Married by Krishna. There was a great rumor that the 5 Pandava brothers, along with their mother, Kunti, had, under the plan of Dhritarashtra, died in a fire accident in the house of Shelak, in which they were living. How many of you know this story from Mahabharata of the Pandavas being lured into this house made of Shelak, which is flammable, and the house was set on fire? And then 5 bodies were discovered, and so everyone assumed that the Pandavas had perished. You know this story? Some of us know the story. But then, Prabhupada says, the 5 brothers were detected at the marriage ceremony of Draupadi. So again, another rumor spread that the Pandavas and their mother were not dead. It was a rumor, but actually it was so. They returned to their capital city, Hastinapur, and people saw them face to face. When this news was carried to Krishna and Balaram, Krishna wanted to see them personally, and therefore Krishna decided to go to Hastinapur. So the 5 persons who perished in that fire were other people. They weren't the Pandavas. So the Lord was very glad, of course, to hear that the Pandavas had survived this attempt on their life by their uncle, no less. So he wanted to go and see them in Hastinapur. This time, Krishna visited Hastinapur in state as a royal prince, accompanied by his commander-in-chief, Yuyudhana, and by many other soldiers. So previously the Lord had sent a Krura to Hastinapur to scope out the situation, to find out what was the political condition there, and he reported back. This time the Lord visited in state as a royal prince, along with his commander-in-chief, Yuyudhana, and many other soldiers. He had not actually been invited to visit the city, yet he went to see the Pandavas out of his affection for his great devotees. He visited the Pandavas without warning, and all of them got up from their respective seats as soon as they saw him. Krishna is called Mukunda, Because as soon as one comes in constant touch with Krishna, or sees him in full Krishna consciousness, one immediately becomes freed from all material anxieties. Not only that, but he immediately becomes blessed with all spiritual bliss. So if we contact Krishna, and especially if we are able to see Krishna in full Krishna consciousness, then we can become free from all material anxieties, and we're also immediately blessed with all spiritual bliss. On receiving Krishna, the Pandavas became very enlivened, just as if awakened from unconsciousness or from loss of life. When a man is lying unconscious, his senses and the different parts of his body are not active. But when he regains his consciousness, the senses immediately become active. Similarly, the Pandavas received Krishna as if they had just regained their consciousness, and so they became very much enlivened. Lord Krishna embraced every one of them, and by the touch of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Pandavas immediately became freed from all reactions of material contamination, and therefore they were smiling in spiritual bliss. By seeing the face of Lord Krishna, everyone was transcendently satisfied. Lord Krishna, although the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was playing the part of an ordinary human being, and thus he immediately touched the feet of Yudhishthira and Bhima, because they were his two older cousins. Arjuna embraced Krishna as a friend of the same age, whereas the two younger brothers, namely Nakula and Sahadev, touched the lotus feet of Krishna to show him respect. After an exchange of greetings according to the social etiquette befitting the position of the Pandavas and Lord Krishna, Krishna was offered an exalted seat. When he was comfortably seated, the newly married Draupadi, young and very beautiful in her natural feminine gracefulness, came before Lord Krishna to offer her respectful greetings. The Yadavas who accompanied Krishna to Hastinapur were also very respectfully received. Specifically, Satyaki, or Yuyudhana, was also offered a nice seat. In this way, when everyone else was properly seated, the five brothers took their seats nearby Lord Krishna. After meeting with the five brothers, Lord Krishna personally went to visit Srimati Kunti Devi, the mother of the Pandavas, who was also the paternal aunt of Krishna. In offering his respects to his aunt, Krishna also touched her feet. Kunti Devi's eyes became wet, and in great love, she feelingly embraced Lord Krishna. She then inquired from him about the well-being of her paternal family members, her brother Vasudeva, his wife, and other members of the family. Similarly, Krishna also inquired from his aunt about the welfare of the Pandava families. Although Kunti Devi was related to Krishna by family ties, she knew immediately after meeting him that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She remembered the past calamities of her life and how by the grace of Krishna the Pandavas and their mother had been saved. She knew perfectly well that no one without Krishna's grace could have saved them from the fire accident designed by Dhritarashtra and his sons. In a choked-up voice, she began to narrate before Krishna the past history of their life. So we may think that we have it tough from time to time or all of the time. But Kunti Devi is about to relate some of her troubles and struggles. Srimati Kunti said, "My dear Krishna, I remember the day when you sent my brother Akrura to gather information about us. This means that you always remember us automatically. When you sent Akrura, I could understand that there was no possibility of our being put into danger. All good fortune in our life began when you sent Akrura to us. Since then, I have been convinced that we are not without protection. We may be put into various types of dangerous conditions by our family members, the Kurus, but I am confident that you remember us and that you always keep us safe and sound. Devotees who simply think of you are always immune from all kinds of material dangers. And what to speak of ourselves, who are personally remembered by you. This is a very nice encouragement from Kunti Devi. She says that devotees who simply think of the Lord are always immune from all kinds of material dangers. Srila Prabhupada also writes in the book Light of the Bhagavata, that if one wants to be free from all material distress, one should constantly remember Krishna's mercy. One should always remember how Krishna is very kind and how we are existing on the kindness of Krishna. This is the most sure way of becoming immune from material distress and dangers. So what to speak of those devotees whom Krishna always personally remembers because of their unalloyed love for him? She continues, so, my dear Krishna, there is no question of bad luck. We are always in an auspicious position because of your grace. But because you have bestowed a special favor on us, people should not mistakenly think that you are partial to some and inattentive to others. You make no such distinction. No one is your favorite and no one is your enemy. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are equal to everyone, and everyone can take advantage of your special protection. Yes, Krishna's protection is open for everybody. It is simply a question of, do we want it? Do we want to be a devotee? Krishna is ready. He is always ready to give us protection. Whoever we are, he has no favorites and no enemies. Everyone can take advantage of your special protection. Kunti Devi continues, the fact is that although you are equal to everyone, you are especially inclined to the devotees who always think of you. The devotees are related to you by ties of love. As such, they cannot forget you even for a moment. You are present in everyone's heart, but because the devotees always remember you, you also respond accordingly. So the Lord's equal to everyone. He's in everyone's heart. He's ready and willing to offer protection to anyone who comes to him. And so naturally, those who come to him, his devotees, who love him and surrender to him, then he responds proportionately, accordingly. That is not partiality. That is relationship. And anybody who wants that relationship is welcome. Anyone can have that. Krishna is not partial. Okay. So, Srimati Kunti Devi says, you also respond accordingly. Although the mother has affection for all the children, she takes special care of the one who is fully dependent. Yeah? The one who is fully dependent, they get special care because of the attitude of approach, because of the relationship. You know, if the other children think, hey, we don't need mom, right, we can do it ourselves, then mom is like, all right, go ahead then. She takes special care of the one who is fully dependent. I know certainly, my dear Krishna, that being seated in everyone's heart, you always create auspicious situations for your unalloyed devotees. So if we become an unalloyed devotee, that means an unmixed devotee, pure devotee, right? Simply interested in Krishna's business. What does Krishna want? How would Krishna be pleased? If we're occupied with those concerns, if we become unalloyed devotee, then there will always be auspicious situations. So by becoming a lover of God, all problems are solved. There's no need to separately try to solve one's material issues and difficulties. No need to separately try to solve. Krishna will arrange and adjust everything. Our duty is simply to surrender to Him, to make a relationship with Him and to give Him what He wants. That is our only duty, actually. What does Krishna want? Then King Yudhishthira also praised Krishna as the Supreme Personality and universal friend of everyone. Actually, before we continue, anyone has any thoughts or reflections on what we just heard? It's not required. I'm just opening the opportunity. Realizations, experiences of this? No? Okay, let's continue. I mean, I'll just share with you personally. At different times in life when I have been conscious of the need, let's just say, the need to be dependent on the Lord. You know, like there's no other safety or there's no other means of help. And, you know, one fully depends on Krishna. Okay, you know, get me through this situation or whatever. Then He comes through. You know, I get to see how Krishna clears a path. We have to put trust in Him. We have to act, of course, in any situation. We have to perform the right actions in order to get to where we're going. But while we're performing those actions, we are depending on the Lord from one step to the next. And He makes the path clear. Then King Yudhishthira also praised Krishna as the Supreme Personality and universal friend of everyone. But because Krishna was taking special care of the Pandavas, King Yudhishthira said, "My dear Krishna, we do not know what sort of pious activities we have executed in our past lives that have made you so kind and graceful to us. We know very well that the great mystics who are always engaged in meditation to capture you do not find it easy to obtain such grace, nor can they draw any personal attention from you. I cannot understand why you are so kind upon us. We are not yogis, but on the contrary, we are attached to material contaminations. We are householders dealing in politics, worldly affairs. I do not know why you are so kind upon us." Srila Prabhupada writes, being requested by King Yudhishthira, Krishna agreed to stay in Hastinapur. Well, actually, can anybody answer this question? Why was Krishna so kind upon the Pandavas, even though they're not, apparent yogis, even though they are involved in household life and stately affairs and politics? Why Krishna is so kind upon them, in spite of their social position and the various ways in which they are involved in the world? Why Krishna is so kind upon the Pandavas? So much more so than great mystics always engaged in meditation to capture Krishna. And they cannot draw any personal attention from him. Why the Pandavas could? What did the Pandavas have that such great mystics might not have? What is in the heart of the Pandavas? What do they have that draws such special attention from Krishna? Anybody knows? You know? What did the Pandavas have? Surrender. Yeah, good answer. They have bhakti. They have bhakti. The goal of the entire yoga system is bhakti, pure bhakti. In fact, as Srila Prabhupada says, yoga means bhakti yoga. The culmination of the yoga system is pure bhakti. So because the Pandavas love Krishna, yes, therefore, he reciprocates accordingly. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Yayata mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. As you surrender unto me, I reward you accordingly. So, being requested by King Yudhishthira, Krishna agreed to stay in Hastinapur for 4 months during the rainy season. Yes? If someone loves you very much and you ask them something, it's very hard to say no. If their love is genuine, it's very difficult to refuse. So Maharaj Yudhishthira asked him to stay. And Krishna stayed for 4 months of the rainy season. The 4 months of the rainy season are called the Chaturmasya. During this period, the generally itinerant preachers and brahmanas stop at a certain place and live under rigid regulative principles. Although Lord Krishna is above all regulative principles, he agreed to stay at Hastinapur out of affection for the Pandavas. Taking this opportunity of Krishna's residence in Hastinapur, all the citizens of the town got the privilege of seeing him now and then. And thus they merged into transcendental bliss simply by seeing Lord Krishna eye to eye. One day, while Krishna was staying with the Pandavas, he and Arjuna prepared themselves to go to the forest to hunt. Both of them sat down on the chariot, which flew a flag with a picture of Hanuman. Arjuna's special chariot is always marked with the picture of Hanuman, and therefore his name is also Kapi Dvaja. Kapi means Hanuman, and Dvaja means flag. Thus Arjuna went to the forest with his bow and infallible arrows. He dressed himself with suitable protective garments, for he was to practice killing many enemies. He specifically entered that part of the forest where there were many tigers, deer, and various other animals. Krishna did not go with Arjuna to practice animal killing because he doesn't have to practice anything. He is self-sufficient. He accompanied Arjuna to see how he was practicing because in the future he would have to kill many enemies. So it's customary, or it's allowed for the Kshatriyas to practice their fighting art and their killing art by going into the forest and practicing on the wild animals there. That is permitted for Kshatriyas. Because their duty is to protect the citizens, so they must exercise and refine their skill. So the Lord accompanied Arjuna just to see how he was practicing. Right? Because in the future, as we know, on the battle of Kurukshetra, Arjuna would have to kill so many enemies. After entering the forest, Arjuna killed many tigers, boars, bison, gavayas, a kind of wild animal, rhinoceroses, deer, hares, porcupines, and similar other animals, which he pierced with his arrows. Some of the dead animals, which were fit to be offered in the sacrifices, were carried by the servants and sent to King Yudhishthira. Other ferocious animals, such as tigers and rhinoceroses, were killed only to stop disturbances in the forest. Since there are many sages and saintly persons who are residents of the forests, it is the duty of the Kshatriya kings to keep even the forest in a peaceful condition for living. So either the animals were killed in order to maintain the peace of the forest for the sages, and other animals, they were fit to be offered in sacrifices and were taken back to the emperor, to King Yudhishthira. Arjuna felt tired and thirsty from hunting. Actually, any questions? Yes. Pardon? It's okay for the Kshatriyas. Do you know what Kshatriya means? Kshatriya means one who protects from harm. So the Kshatriyas are the warrior class, the kings. We don't have them anymore. There are no kings. Not really. The kings are meant for protecting the citizens. They are meant for curbing and for, quelling all kinds of criminal activity in their kingdom. And they are meant to see that the citizens are engaged in proper religious duties. So they have to be very powerful. They have to be strong. They have to be expert in fighting. The upstarts in the kingdom, or any mischievous personalities, should be afraid of such kings so that they will not commit crimes. So the kings are very chivalrous, very powerful, and they must practice their art, their martial art. And for this purpose, the Shastra allows them to kill animals in the forest. That is part of their duty. There's no sin incurred in the performance of that duty. Krishna indemnifies. In order for us to eat anything, something has to die, pretty much. Okay, there are certain fruits and things that one can take, and there may not be killing involved, but certain vegetable forms are killed in the process of eating. And therefore, everything that one eats is offered in sacrifice first. So without offering in sacrifice, one becomes implicated. One becomes a debtor. Let's look at that verse from Bhagavad Gita quickly. Yagya Shishtashana Shanto. I think it's 3:13, if my memory serves me correct. Does this answer your question, or you still have some doubt remaining? I can go further if. Let's look at 3:13. Yes. Yajna Shishtashana Santo Muchante Sarvakil Vishai Bhunjate Tetvakam Papa Ye Pachantyatma Karanat. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. So Krishna's devotees, they cook for Krishna or for the spiritual master primarily. And they will put that foodstuff after cooking on a special plate and ring the bell and chant the prayers and with love ask the Lord to please accept their offering. This is yajna, sacrifice. Then they'll let the Lord eat that, because Krishna can eat simply by hearing, simply by seeing. His senses are transcendental. They all perform the work of any other sense. So Krishna eats. He's a person. And then when Krishna has accepted that offering, if it's offered with love, he says, I eat that which is offered with love. Then we take the remnants, and that's called prasadam. So everything at the temple here is offered to the Lord. Right? How many offerings are there a day here to our deities? 6, I think. And everyone then partakes of the prasadam afterwards. This is Krishna's mercy. And this prasadam is infused with spiritual potency. One becomes purified and clarified by honoring this prasadam. And in this verse, Krishna says, others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. So without offering one's food first in sacrifice for the pleasure of God, then one is becoming a debtor. One is becoming, right, in debt. and it's sinful because one is not acknowledging the supplier, the maintainer. Let's read the purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, the devotees of the Supreme Lord, or the persons who are in Krishna consciousness, are called santas. Santas. I know a devotee who, maybe more than one devotee who has met people on the street at Christmas time, and someone will say to the devotee, Santa's not real. Right? And then the devotee replies, no, Santa is very real. It says so in Bhagavad Gita as it is. And then they bring them to this verse, right? Where it says, the devotees of the Supreme Lord, or the persons who are in Krishna consciousness, are called Santas. Yeah, really. Santas. Truthful. And they're the most charitable, most munificent, right? What better gift can you get than the devotee who gives Krishna consciousness? The devotees on the street, out in all conditions, trying to give people Krishna's message, are the really munificent personalities. They're the greatest santas, especially at Christmas time. And they're always in love with the Lord, as it is described in the Brahma Samhita. Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Viloka Yanti. These santas, being always in a compact of love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, the giver of all pleasures, or Mukunda, the giver of liberation, or Krishna, the all-attractive person, these santas cannot accept anything without first offering it to the Supreme Person. Therefore, such devotees always perform yajnas in different modes of devotional service, such as shravanam, which means hearing, like we're doing now. This is sacrifice for Krishna's pleasure, shravanam. Kirtanam, chanting. Smaranam, remembering. Archanam, worshipping the deity, etc. And these performances of yajnas keep them always aloof from all kinds of contamination of sinful association in the material world. Others who prepare food for self or sense gratification are not only thieves, Prabhupada says, because it's not your ingredient. You did not create it. It's Krishna's creation. So Krishna should be acknowledged and offered what belongs to him. Others who prepare food for self or sense gratification are not only thieves, but are also the eaters of all kinds of sins. How can a person be happy if he is both a thief and sinful? It is not possible. Therefore, in order for people to become happy in all respects, they must be taught to perform the easy process of Sankirtana Yajna in full Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, there can be no peace or happiness in the world. Sankirtana Yajna means the congregational glorification of Krishna. When we come together to loudly chant Krishna's name and to talk and hear about his form, his qualities, and his pastimes. This is Sankirtana. This is a great sacrifice. And when we offer food, we also chant the Lord's holy names. So, in other words, being vegetarian is not as important as being prasadarian. Why are we vegetarian? Because Krishna says, this is what I eat. If Krishna said, I eat eggs, if Krishna said, I want to eat flesh, then we would offer that to him and take the remnants. But Krishna doesn't eat eggs. Krishna doesn't eat the flesh of animals. That's not what he wants to eat. Krishna wants to eat patram pushpam palam toyam. Leaf, flower, fruit, water, right? Vegetables, grains, milk, sugar. So many preparations one can cook for Krishna that are very, very palatable. And there's no need to kill some poor animal. certainly no need to gather them in one big house and slaughter wholesale. That's abominable. But the Kshatriyas, they are allowed to go to the forest to practice their fighting art and to kill the wild animals there. They have that concession, not others. But there are no Kshatriyas. This Krishna consciousness movement is meant for creating, first of all, Krishna conscious Brahmanas, and for creating saintly rulers. Saintly rulers. We will get there. How long it takes, I don't know. Could be a few decades, could be a few centuries. But we will rule. Krishna's devotees will rule this planet. The Kshatriyas will come. So yeah, the Kshatriyas have this concession. So Arjuna went to the forest with the Lord, and Arjuna did the killing, practicing his martial art. Arjuna, any questions? Any other questions? Okay. Arjuna felt tired and thirsty from hunting, and therefore he went to the bank of the Yamuna along with Krishna. When both the Krishnas, namely Krishna and Arjuna, because Arjuna is sometimes called Krishna, as in Draupadi. Draupadi's other name is Krishna. So I'm assuming that because of Arjuna's connection with Krishna, Krishna is also sometimes called Krishna, as Srila Prabhupada writes here. So when both the Krishnas, namely Krishna and Arjuna, reached the bank of the Yamuna, they washed their hands and feet and mouths and drank the clear water of the Yamuna. While they were resting and drinking water, they saw a beautiful girl of marriageable age walking alone on the bank of the Yamuna. Krishna asked his friend Arjuna to go forward and ask the girl who she was. By the order of Krishna, Arjuna immediately approached the girl, who was very beautiful. She had an attractive body and nice glittering teeth and smiling face. Arjuna inquired, "My dear girl, you are so beautiful with your raised breasts. May I ask who you are? May I ask you who you are? We are surprised to see you loitering here alone. What is your purpose in coming here? We can guess only that you are searching after a suitable husband. If you don't mind, you can disclose your purpose. I shall try to satisfy you." The beautiful girl was the river Yamuna personified. She replied, "Sir, I am the daughter of the sun god, and I am now performing penance and austerity to have Lord Vishnu as my husband. I think he is the supreme person and just suitable to become my husband. I disclose my desire thus because you wanted to know it." The girl continued, "My dear sir, I know you are the hero Arjuna, so I may further say that I'll not accept anyone as my husband besides Lord Vishnu, because he is the only protector of all living entities and the bestower of liberation for all conditioned souls. I shall be thankful unto you if you pray to Lord Vishnu to become pleased with me." The girl Yamuna knew it well that Arjuna was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, and that if he would pray, Krishna would never deny his request. So this is something of a secret formula, that if you want blessings, you should find out a great devotee of Krishna and ask them to pray for you, because Krishna will never deny the request of his dear devotee. Srila Prabhupada writes, "To approach Krishna directly may sometimes be futile. but to approach Krishna through his devotee is sure to be successful. She further told Arjuna, "My name is Kalindi, and I live within the water of the Yamuna. My father was kind enough to construct a special house for me within the waters of the Yamuna, and I have vowed to remain in the water as long as I cannot find Lord Krishna." She's the daughter of the sun god, right? The message of the girl Kalindi was duly carried to Krishna by Arjuna, although Krishna, as the supersoul in everyone's heart, knew everything. Without further discussion, Krishna immediately accepted Kalindi and asked her to sit down on the chariot. Then all of them approached King Yudhishthira. After this, Krishna was asked by King Yudhishthira to help in constructing a suitable house to be planned by the great architect Vishvakarma, the celestial engineer in the heavenly kingdom. Krishna immediately called for Vishvakarma, and he made him construct a wonderful city according to the desire of King Yudhishthira. When this city was constructed, Maharaj Yudhishthira requested Krishna to live with them a few days more in order to give them the pleasure of his association. Lord Krishna accepted the request of Maharaj Yudhishthira and remained there for many days more. In the meantime, Krishna engaged in the pastime of offering Kandava forest, which belonged to King Indra. Krishna wanted to give it to Agni, the fire god. Kandava forest contained many varieties of drugs, and Agni required to eat them for rejuvenation. It said that Agni had a digestive problem after accepting so many offerings. Like fire eats, yes. So Agni was, his ability to consume was disturbed, and he required the medicinal elements of the Kandava forest. So Krishna wanted him to take the Kandava forest. But it belonged to Indra. Agni, however, did not touch Kandava forest directly, but requested Krishna to help him. Agni knew that Krishna was very much pleased with him because he had formerly given him the Sudarshana disc. Krishna carries this Sudarshan chakra, right? This very powerful weapon. Apparently it was given by Agni. Of course, it's Krishna's eternal weapon. But for the sake of pastime, then Agni handed it over to the Lord. So, in order to satisfy Agni, Krishna became the chariot driver of Arjuna, and both went to the Kandava forest. After Agni had eaten up the Kandava forest, he was very much pleased. This time, he offered a specific bow known as Gandiva, 4 white horses, 1 chariot, and an invincible quiver with 2 specific arrows considered to be talismans, which had so much power that no warrior could counteract them. So these were the various gifts given by the fire god, Agni. He gave to Arjuna the Gandiva bow, 4 white horses, 1 chariot, and an invincible quiver with 2 specific arrows that had so much power, no warrior could counteract them. When the Kandava forest was being devoured by the fire god, Agni, there was a demon of the name Maya who was saved by Arjuna from the devastating fire. For this reason, that former demon became a great friend of Arjuna. And in order to please Arjuna, he constructed a nice assembly house within the city constructed by Vishvakarma. So Vishvakarma made the city for King Yudhishthira. And this demon called Mayadanava made the assembly house. Because he became friends with Arjuna, he surrendered to Arjuna. Arjuna saved him from the fire. This is far out. This assembly house is remarkable. Srila Prabhupada writes, this assembly house had some corners so puzzling that when Duryodhana came to visit this house, he was misdirected, accepting water as land and land as water. Duryodhana thus became insulted by the opulence of the Pandavas, and he became their determined enemy. He was already their enemy, but now he was determined because he fell into this pond of water thinking that it was like glass, you know. He thought that the appearance of land was water, right? He avoided that. And then he thought that the water was actually something he could walk on. Of course, he fell in, everyone laughed at him, he was insulted, and now he was very much determined in his enmity. After a few days, Krishna took permission from King Yudhishthira to return to Dwarka. When he got permission, he went to his country, accompanied by Satyaki, the leader of the Yadus, who were living in Hastinapur with him. Kalindi also returned with Krishna to Dwarka. After returning, Krishna consulted many learned astrologers to find the suitable moment at which to marry Kalindi, and then he married her with great pomp. This marriage ceremony gave much pleasure to the relatives of both parties, and all of them enjoyed the great occasion. The kings of Avantipura, now known as Ujjain, were named Vinda and Anuvinda. Both kings were under the control of Duryodhana. They had one sister named Mitravinda, who was a very qualified, learned, and elegant girl. She was the daughter of one of Krishna's aunts. She was to select her husband in the assembly of princes, but she strongly desired to have Krishna as her husband. During the assembly for selecting her husband, however, Krishna was present, and he forcibly carried away Mitravinda in the presence of all other royal princes. Being unable to resist Krishna, the princes were left simply looking at each other. So again, this Rakshasa style of marriage, where the chivalrous prince or king steals away the girl, defeating all of the other possible suitors. So Mitravinda, she wanted Krishna for her husband, so she was very pleased that the Lord claimed her and took her away. All the other princes were just stood looking at each other. Any thoughts, questions? Okay. After this incident, Krishna married the daughter of the king of Koshala. This chapter is called Krishna Marries 5 Queens, right? So we've heard about Kalindi, then Mitravinda, and now we're on to the daughter of the king of Koshala. The king of Koshala province was called Nagnajit. He was very pious and was a follower of the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. His most beautiful daughter was named Satya. Sometimes Satya was called Nagnajiti, for she was the daughter of King Nagnajit. King Nagnajit wanted to give the hand of his daughter to any prince who could defeat 7 very strong, stalwart bulls maintained by him. No one in the princely order could defeat the 7 bulls, and therefore no one could claim the hand of Satya. The 7 bulls were very strong, and they could hardly bear even the smell of any prince. Many princes approached this kingdom and tried to subdue these bulls. But instead of controlling them, they themselves were defeated. This news was spread all over the country, and when Krishna heard that the girl Satya could be achieved only by defeating the 7 bulls, he prepared himself to go to the kingdom of Koshala. With many soldiers, he approached that part of the country known as Ayodhya, making a regular state visit. When it was known to the king of Koshala that Krishna had come to ask the hand of his daughter, he became very pleased. With great respect and pomp, he welcomed Krishna to the kingdom. When Krishna approached him, he offered him a suitable sitting place and articles for reception. Everything appeared to be very elegant. Krishna also offered him respectful obeisances, thinking him to be his future father-in-law. When Satya, the daughter of King Nagnajit, understood that Krishna himself had come to marry her, she was very much pleased that the husband of the goddess of fortune had so kindly come there to accept her. She had cherished the idea of marrying Krishna for a long time and was following the principles of austerities in order to obtain her desired husband. She then began to think, if I have performed any pious activities to the best of my capacity, and if I have sincerely thought all along to have Krishna as my husband, then Krishna may be pleased to fulfill my long-cherished desire. She began to offer prayers to Krishna mentally, thinking, I do not know how the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be pleased upon me. He is the Master and Lord of everyone. Even the Goddess of Fortune, whose place is next to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and many other demigods of different planets always offer their respectful obeisances unto the Lord. The Lord also sometimes descends on this earth in different incarnations in order to fulfill the desire of his devotees. He is so exalted and great that I do not know how to satisfy him. She thought that the Supreme Personality of Godhead could be pleased only out of his own causeless mercy upon the devotee. Otherwise, there was no other means to please him. Lord Chaitanya, in the same way, prayed in his Shikshashtaka verses. Do we know who Lord Chaitanya is? Hands up if you know who Lord Chaitanya is. Lord Chaitanya? Yeah? Which one of the five above me is Lord Chaitanya? The person in the middle? Yes. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. And he appears in this age of Kali to teach us how to love God. He teaches us how to be a devotee of Krishna. And primarily he does this by propagating the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. By chanting this mantra, one can attain all perfection and realize one's eternal, loving relationship with Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya, he's famous for composing 8 verses known as the Shikshashtaka. And in the Shikshashtaka, the Lord says, he's praying to Krishna. He is Krishna, but he's teaching us how to pray to Krishna. And he says, my Lord, I am your eternal servant. Somehow or other, I have fallen into this material existence. If you kindly pick me up and fix me as an atom of dust at your lotus feet, it will be a great favor to your eternal servant. So he's recognizing that unless Krishna is merciful, then what is my position? What hope do I have? What can I do? What can I do to impress Krishna? So simply begging, simply crying, please be merciful, pick me up, place me as an atom of dust at your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada writes, the Lord can be pleased only by a humble attitude in the service spirit. The more we render service unto the Lord under the direction of the spiritual master, the more we make advancement on the path of approaching the Lord. The spiritual master is the transparent via medium through whom Krishna accepts service. So if we really want mercy, if we want help, if we want to be uplifted, we have to do our best to follow the direction of the spiritual master. The great acharyas. And be on the lookout for such direction. We cannot demand any grace or mercy from the Lord because of our service rendered to Him. Yeah, like some people might think, well, I've done so much for Krishna. This Janmashtami, I spent so much time voluntarily serving. Yes, Krishna must be grateful. He should give me something, and He should make my life easy. Yes, because I've done so much for Krishna. But Prabhupada says we cannot demand any grace or mercy from the Lord because of our service rendered to Him. He may accept or not accept our service. But the only means to satisfy the Lord is through the service attitude and nothing else. Service attitude. Just being concerned with how to please Krishna. King Nagnajit was already a pious king. And having Krishna in his palace, he began to worship him to the best of his knowledge and capacity. He presented himself before the Lord thus: My dear Lord, you are the proprietor of the whole cosmic manifestation, and you are Narayana, the rest of all living creatures, right? It means all living entities are maintained by the Lord. He is the Supersoul, four-armed Supersoul, Lord Janardana, in the heart, maintaining all living entities. This is a form of the Lord, of course, expanded from Sri Narayan, who is all-pervading in the Vaikuntha planets, in the spiritual sky. From Lord Narayana, the Mahavishnu expansion lies down in the causal ocean. All the universes emanate from the pores of the skin of Lord Mahavishnu. At the time of dissolution, when the material creation is wound up, where do the living entities go? Yeah, everything is destroyed. There are no material bodies for them to play with. Nothing, nowhere for them to act on. Everything is destroyed. So they enter into the body of the Lord and enter Shushupti, deep sleep, unconscious condition, like anesthetized state. So Lord Narayan is the rest of all living creatures. They rest in Him. This is King Nagnajit. He says, you are self-sufficient and pleased with your personal opulences. So how can I offer you anything? Right? You already have everything. You're satisfied. There's nothing you're looking for. There's nothing on Amazon, that you need. Sorry, I shouldn't use such a silly example. Anyway. But really, there's nothing that Krishna can be impressed with because everything comes from Him. So Nagnajit is admitting, what can I offer you? And how could I please you by such offering? It is not possible, because I am an insignificant living being. Actually, I have no capacity to render any service unto you. Right? Humble, realizing his position. Srila Prabhupada writes, Krishna is the supersoul of all living creatures. So he could understand the mind of Satya, the daughter of King Nagnajit. He was also very much pleased with the respectful worship of the king in offering him a sitting place, eatables, residence, etc. He was appreciative, therefore, that both the girl and the father of the girl were anxious to have him as their intimate relative. He began to smile, and in a great voice said, Krishna said, My dear King Nagnajit, you know very well that anyone in the princely order who is regular in his position will never ask anything from anyone, however exalted he may be. Such requests by a Kshatriya king from another person have been deliberately forbidden by the learned Vedic followers. If a Kshatriya breaks this regulation, Kshatriyas don't beg in charity. And Brahmanas may ask for charity, and the Brahmanas are proper recipients of charity. The Kshatriyas are supposed to give in charity, but the Kshatriyas will not go a begging. They will not ask. They must give. They can collect tax, right? And they will exact it. Of course, within limit. Not that they will take it without reason, unfairly. No. They can take tax and they will distribute it. They will spend it all for the benefit of the citizens. Okay, so Lord Krishna is saying, if a Kshatriya breaks this regulation, of asking something from anyone, then his action is condemned by learned scholars. But in spite of this rigid regulative principle, I am asking you for the hand of your beautiful daughter, just to establish our relationship in return for your great reception of me. Krishna wants which you may impose for delivering her. Srila Prabhupada writes, in other words, Krishna wanted the hand of Satya from the king without fulfilling the condition of defeating the 7 bulls. Without fulfilling the condition of defeating the 7 bulls. So we're out of time. We're going to continue on Monday or Tuesday, most likely Tuesday. Let's see. Is Krishna going to defeat the bulls or not? He's saying that, please give me the hand of your daughter, but don't ask me to defeat the 7 bulls, in order to take her hand. But we know Krishna, at least some of us know that Krishna did defeat these bulls, so we're going to find out how he ended up doing so. Hare Krishna. Now we have Bhagavad Gita class. Chapter 15, text 6. Do whatever you like.
I'll just play that.
You want to sit next to the...
Yeah, I'll sit here.
I should bring the asana. You're happy to sit on that asana?
I don't mind.
Yes?
It's okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yashodanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Shri Radha Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada We'll do the Mangala Charana. We can all sing together. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru and Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam सागर जातान् सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पधान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पश्यत्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So we have the Bhagavad Gita class now. Today we're reading from chapter 15, text number 6. So we'll just recite the prayers before. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we'll read text 6 here. The verse is also up there on the screen. So I'll read a line, maybe then you can repeat. Na tad bhashayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama na tad bhashayate suryo na shashanko na pavaka yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Would one of you like to recite? Na tad bhashayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Na tad bhashayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Anyone else? Na tad bhashayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Thank you. Word for word. Na, not. Tat, that. Bhashayate, illuminates. Suryaha, the sun. Na, nor. Shashanka, the moon. Na, nor. Pavaka, fire or electricity. Yat, where. Gatva, going. Na, never. Nivartante, they come back. Tadhama, that abode. Paramam, supreme. Mama, my. Translation. That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. We'll read the purport now by Srila Prabhupada. The spiritual world, the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, which is known as Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan, is described here. In the spiritual sky, there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, fire, or electricity, because all the planets are self-luminous. We have only one planet in this universe, the sun, which is self-luminous, but all the planets in the spiritual sky are self-luminous. The shining effulgence of all those planets, called Vaikunthas, constitutes the shining sky, known as the Brahma Jyotir. Actually, the effulgence is emanating from the planet of Krishna, Goloka Vrindavan. Part of that shining effulgence is covered by the Mahat Tattva, the material world. Other than this, the major portion of that shining sky is full of spiritual planets, which are called Vaikunthas, chief of which is Goloka Vrindavan. As long as a living entity is in this dark material world, he is in conditional life. But as soon as he reaches the spiritual sky, by cutting through the false, perverted tree of this material world, he becomes liberated. Then there is no chance of his coming back here. In his conditioned life, the living entity considers himself to be the lord of this material world. But in his liberated state, he enters into the spiritual kingdom and becomes an associate of the Supreme Lord. There he enjoys eternal bliss, eternal life, and full knowledge. One should be captivated by this information. He should desire to transfer himself to that eternal world and extricate himself from this false reflection of reality. For one who is too much attached to this material world, it is very difficult to cut that attachment. But if he takes to Krishna consciousness, there is a chance of gradually becoming detached. One has to associate himself with devotees, those who are in Krishna consciousness. One should search out society dedicated to Krishna consciousness and learn how to discharge devotional service. And that way he can cut off his attachment to the material world. One cannot become detached from the attraction of the material world simply by dressing himself in saffron cloth. He must become attached to the devotional service of the Lord. Therefore, one should take it very seriously that devotional service, as described in the 12th chapter, is the only way to get out of this false representation of the real tree. In chapter 14, the contamination of all kinds of processes by material nature is described. Only devotional service is described as purely transcendental. The words paramam mama are very important here. Actually, every nook and corner is the property of the Supreme Lord. But the spiritual world is paramam, full of 6 opulences. The Katha Upanishad 2.2.15 also confirms that in the spiritual world there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, or stars. Na tatra surya bhati, na chandra tarakam. For the whole spiritual sky is illuminated by the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. That supreme abode can be achieved only by surrender and by no other means. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this, the Bhagavad Gita is a very practical book. It said it's like the guide for humanity. It's like, when we buy something from the shop, it comes with a manual. And so the Bhagavad Gita is like a manual for human life. What should we do? How should we act? Who are we? What is this world about? What is the purpose of life? It answers all types of questions. It said that there are 5 main topics of the Bhagavad Gita. And does anyone know the 5 topics of the Gita? It says the first topic of the Gita talks about identity. It's like, who are we? That's the first topic. Say if I asked you, who are you, what would you say? Okay. Yeah, it's a good question to think about. Just who are we? Who are we actually? So the Bhagavad Gita answers this in the beginning chapters. It says that, like you said, your name. But our name can change. We're still the same person. And it said that even our body changes. When we were a baby, we looked completely different. As we grow older, our body also changes from young body to old body. And then at death again, it changes. So Krishna explains that actually our true identity is that of the spirit soul. And that soul is unchanging despite all the other changes that happen in our life. Then the second topic of the Gita is Prakriti. That is the material world. He talks about what is this world, talks about the 3 modes of material nature. And so this chapter 15, Krishna is describing the material world. In the beginning of the chapter, Krishna compares the material world to the reflection of a banyan tree. He says that, this material world is just like a reflected banyan tree. Now, so first of all, why do you think he compares the material world to a banyan tree? There's so many different types of trees. What is...
I was going to say the limbs, there's so many different limbs, but that's all trees.
Okay.
Very complicated, has so
Yeah, good. So she said the banyan tree is very complicated. We know it has many roots and everything is intertwined. So we probably all have experienced this world is complicated. So many complexities in life. So that's one reason. Another reason is also in Sanskrit, the word for banyan tree is ashvata. And the literal meaning of the word ashvata means that which is not there tomorrow. Basically, that which is temporary. And so this material world is temporary. It's ashvata. It doesn't last forever. And now, why do you think it's compared to a reflected tree? It's not just a banyan tree, but it's a reflected tree.
Reflected, you're seeing just the other, you're seeing it as flesh, you're not seeing it upside down.
Upside down, yeah.
So that would make sense because it's showing all of the complications. I would think all of it's going in so many different directions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other ideas? Yeah? Okay, very good. Yeah. Yeah, so in a reflection, it looks the same, but actually the object is not there. So let's say we have a tree and it's reflected in a lake. So the tree has fruits. But if we try to take the fruit in the reflection, can we taste anything? Is there any taste, any sweetness, any enjoyment there? No. So it's compared that this material world is like that. That the pleasure we find in this material world is actually only a reflection of the true pleasure that is there in the spiritual world. And we can experience that yes, there is some pleasure in this material world, but it doesn't last ultimately. Whatever we enjoy, it has an end, and it comes with so many other miseries as well. So there's actually the happiness that we experience in this material world is very illusory. It's just like a reflection. Yeah, then it says also the reflection is upside down. So this reflection of the tree it's the spiritual world is the original tree, and its reflection is the material world. So it said that in the spiritual world, the highest thing is the pure love between Radha and Krishna, between Krishna and all of his devotees. The selfless, pure love of Radha and Krishna. And when that is reflected in the material world, it becomes selfish lust. So the highest thing becomes the lowest thing. Pure love is turned into selfish lust in this material world. Yeah, so in so many ways in the beginning of this chapter 15, Krishna is explaining the nature of this material world through this analogy of a reflected banyan tree. Yeah, he says that it's uncomfortable, it's unnatural, and we can't stay here forever. Just like if we're upside down, it's going to be uncomfortable, unnatural, and we're not going to be able to stay upside down for very long because it's not our actual position. We're meant to be in the spiritual world. That's our true home. So, yeah, here Krishna also teaches us how do we get out of this material world? How do we stop being in the reflection and actually go to the real substance, the spiritual world? So in the previous verses in texts 3 and 4, Krishna, he says, the real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Thereafter, one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns, and there surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. So he says that with the weapon of detachment, we should cut down this strongly rooted tree of the material world. And then in text 5, Krishna says, those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom. So here he's telling us how we can actually transfer ourselves from this material world to the spiritual world. He says that we have to cultivate a sense of detachment to this material world, first of all, and become free from its illusion, from the false association, and understand the eternal, which begins with understanding our true identity as the soul. We'll take questions at the end, okay? So in today's verse, Krishna is describing the nature of the spiritual world, that it's eternal. He says that it's self-effulgent. It doesn't need the light of the sun. It doesn't need electricity. It doesn't need any of these arrangements. It's always effulgent, always luminous. And in the Brahma Samhita also there's a beautiful verse where Lord Brahma, he's describing the spiritual world. He says, Chintamani prakarasadma shukalpa vriksha lakshavrite sushurabhi labhipalayantam lakshmi sahasra sata sambrahma sevyamanam govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. He describes that in the spiritual world, all the trees are kalpa vriksha. That means wish-fulfilling trees. You can go to a tree, and from that tree you can get anything. Anything you want, you can get from that tree. And he says that the spiritual world is made up of chintamani gems. Chintamani stones means it's like a touchstone, basically. Same thing, that whatever you touch to it, whatever you want, you can obtain from that. And that it's filled with thousands of goddesses of fortunes, thousands of Lakshmis who are all serving Lord Krishna. And then he says, Venum kanvantam aravinda dolaya chaksham varhavitam samasitam buddhasundarangam kandarpakoti kamaniya vishesha shobham govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. He says that in that spiritual world, Lord Krishna, he personally resides there. And his beauty is so enchanting that it completely captivates the hearts of everyone. It's described that he has eyes just like the petals of lotus flowers. He wears a peacock feather, as we can see. He plays such beautiful sound on his flute. And he lives there. He associates with all his devotees. He's playing with his friends. He's interacting with everyone. And so the spiritual world is such a beautiful place. It's such a wonderful place that when we go there, every desire that we ever had would be fulfilled. And so the process that Krishna gives us for being able to get there, it said the first thing we need to do is develop detachment to this material world. Krishna says that as long as we're attached to this material world, we're not able to go to that spiritual world. And so in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a nice story in the 11th canto. It's a story between Krishna and Uddhava. Uddhava had to detach himself from his family, from his friends, from basically everything in this world. And so he went to Krishna, and he was saying that Krishna told him that you should detach, you should renounce this world. But Uddhava was saying that this is something very difficult to do. It's not easy to give up attachment to this world. We've been attached to so many things. We're attached to our family, we're attached to our job, we're attached to our friends, we're attached to our own body, and everything related to our body. Basically, this world only functions on the basis of attachment to the material body and all of its associates. And so Krishna, he tells Uddhava a story of the Avaduta Brahmin. It said that this Brahmin, so once there was a king, King Yadu. He was traveling and he met this Brahmin, Avaduta Brahmin. Avaduta means someone who, he doesn't really follow the normal course of social actions. He is fully self-realized, and so he just acts, fully depending on the Lord. So he met this person, and he saw him, and he could see that he was experiencing deep spiritual ecstasy. He was highly elevated in his spiritual life. So he asked him that, how did you get such a such high spiritual realization. You're just here living in the forest. You're not like in the temple. You're not following all the prescribed rituals, doing sacrifices, doing yagyas, worshipping the deity. How is it that you came to such a spiritually elevated position? And so the Avadhuta Brahmin, he replied that I have many gurus. And from all of these gurus, by observing them, I learned many lessons in life. And it's very interesting, all of the things that he learned. Basically, all of his teachers were just things that he saw around him. So it's described that the first teacher is the earth. He said, from the earth, I learned how to be tolerant. He said, the earth is exploited in so many ways by people. The earth is, the earth is mined for gems. The earth is littered with so much rubbish. The earth is polluted in so many different ways. There's wars that destroy so many things on the earth. And people behave in abominable ways that disturbs the balance of Mother Nature. And yet, despite all of these disturbances, the earth is continuously giving. And it's giving to the very people who harass it. All the food that we get is given to us by earth. It all comes from earth. Even when we pollute the earth, even when we do all these kind of things, it continuously supplies all the necessities of our life. And so the Avadhuta Brahmin, he said that I learned this quality from the earth, how to be tolerant. That in our life, so many people will also harass us in different ways. So many people will exploit us in different ways. And yet a saintly person, despite all of these things, they don't get distracted in their path. They continue practicing their path of selfless love to others and their spiritual path. Then he also said that the air is also my guru. From the air I learned how to be aloof, how to remain uncontaminated. That in this world we have to associate with so many different material things. We go out, we have jobs, we associate with all types of people who might not be spiritual at all, with all kinds of, different sound vibrations, different images that all influence our consciousness. And yet a spiritual person is still able to keep their high spiritual consciousness, despite all of these things. Just like the air, it says the air carries all kinds of aromas. Sometimes when it goes through a bad place, it will carry, bad aromas. When it goes to a good place, it will carry good aromas. But the air itself is not changed. It's just carrying them. And so in the same way, the spirit soul carries so many different identities. We carry different types of bodies, different types of designations. We go through different phases in life. But actually, the Avanti Brahmin said he learned from this example that actually it's just the material body that's passing through all of these situations, and the soul is actually not affected. The soul is always spiritual. And so when we understand that, we're able to keep our spiritual consciousness despite all of these changes. Jai Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda Ki Jai. Then he describes how he also learned from the sky. That just as the sky never mixes with anything, or it's never divided, that the soul and super soul never mix with anything. The soul and super soul can never be divided, that they're also always present everywhere, just like the sky, like living entities are present everywhere. And the Lord is also present everywhere. Then from water, he said that he learned the nature of a saintly person. That just like water is cooling, water is purifying, water is gentle, water is soothing, and also the sound of water is very pleasing. So in the same way, a saintly person is like that they're able to purify others by their association, that their words are very pleasing to hear, just like the flowing of water. and that they are very gentle, just like water. Then he said from fire, he also learned the nature of a saintly people, that they're able to burn up all the contamination of their disciples. So we have like gurus, they take many disciples, and it said that at the time of initiation, the guru destroys all the sins of the disciple. So this is what he learned from fire, that just as fire is able to burn away all kind of impurities, in the same way a saintly person is able to burn away all sins. Yeah, so there's so many actually. He said he lists 24 different types of gurus. He learned from the sun, from a python, from the ocean, from a moth, from a honeybee. And this way he describes many beautiful lessons. And all of these help us develop detachment from this material world, from our body, from our mind, from our senses, from this, just the material world and all the things that we do. So you can read this later. We don't have time to go through all of them now. It's the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11. And it's very beautifully explained there in this story. So it says that, after this story, that the king Yadu, he became completely free from all types of attachment to this material world, and his mind was completely fixed on the spiritual platform. And so like it said that this material world, even though it's illusory, and even though it has so many apparent faults, that it actually it has a purpose, and that the purpose of this material world is it's to give a chance to us, for us to fulfill our independent desires, to try to enjoy without the Lord. But it says that ultimately the purpose of this material world is to facilitate the return of the conditioned souls back home, back to the spiritual world. And so we can experience that in this material world, no matter how hard we try to become happy through enjoying our senses, through, fulfilling the demands of our body, that it's ultimately never going to bring us true happiness. We were just talking with Vishaka Matji the other day, and she was explaining how before she was an atheist, but then she was thinking, what's the purpose of life? That she had this, this deep desire to know actually, what is the purpose of life? She said she was a photographer, and so she used to work with some of the most rich and famous people in the world. She was in New York City. And she would photograph them and speak with them. And she said that basically what society explained as the purpose of life was to, you get a good education, then you get a good job, then you work hard. Why do you work hard? Well, to get money. Why do you need money? To enjoy as much as you can. And basically that was the goal of life. Then get success, get fame, get power, get position. But she said that she was working with people who had all of these things to the highest degree. They had so much wealth, they had so much fame, they had high positions, they had everything that society promised as success. And she said that when she looked at their lives, she could see that it was totally a mess, that they weren't happy, that they were deeply suffering. And so then she began to question, this must be wrong, that society says that if you get all of these things, this is success, this is happiness. But here I see these people, practically, they have all of these things, and yet they're so miserable. They're more unhappy than a simple person. And so then she said she began to look deeper for something else. What is true happiness? What is true success? And ultimately, she meets Srila Prabhupada. And he explains to her the entire science of Krishna consciousness. And through associating with the devotees, as Prabhupada explains in the purport, we can acquire true knowledge. And through this knowledge, we can have true understanding of the purpose of life and what true happiness actually is. And then, when we act in that way, we actually achieve that happiness. It says the process of Krishna consciousness is not blind faith. It's actually scientific. If we apply the process in our life perfectly, we will experience the result. We will experience that spiritual happiness. And so, we see many devotees like Vishaka Masti. She now dedicated her entire life to Krishna consciousness. She's been a devotee for many, many years, like 40, 50, or even more years. So this is proof that the process works. And that, Yes, but ultimately we need to first come to this understanding. It says we need to first become frustrated with material life. And so, I was explaining that this is the purpose of the material world, is that ultimately it's leading us to the true understanding of the nature of this world, and that actually we are spirit souls, and it's helping bring us back to the spiritual world. Through so many ways, just like the Avanti Brahmin, through studying the nature of everything around him, be it the elements, the animals, the plants, the behavior of other human beings, he was able to acquire perfect spiritual knowledge. And through that knowledge become so elevated. So it's described that in our spiritual life we should be very reflective, very introspective. We should carefully consider all of these things. It's called the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So Prabhupada explains that before becoming Krishna conscious, we should first become conscious. So that consciousness, we should live in this world. Actually, what is the purpose of life? Not just blindly follow what society tells us without actually seeing is the result that they promise actually working. Is this actual fulfillment? Is this actual happiness? It says that sometimes we can also think that, this material world is like so miserable, then what's the use? But it says that this is the purpose, to actually bring us back eventually to the spiritual world through observing, through trying, through experiencing. Ultimately we come to that understanding. There's a verse in the Ishopanishad that says, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. It says that whatever comes from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is also complete in itself, and it's also completely perfect. So it says that this material world is also completely perfect. We can say, how is the material world perfect? We see there's so many disturbances, but it's perfectly imperfect. It's perfect in that its imperfection is also intentional. It's meant to show us that this world is not our true home, and that it's just meant to teach us some lessons and purify us, and then ultimately lead us back to the spiritual world, where we'll be in our true spiritual position again. So all the problems of this world are ultimately meant to lead us to inquire about spiritual subjects. And this is the Vedic literatures explain that this is the goal of life. Like the first aphorism of the Vedanta Sutra is Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now that you've attained this form of a human being, the purpose of life is to inquire about the absolute truth. It says that there are so many species of life. We can see there's outside, if we go, there's hundreds of trees, thousands of plants, like millions of insects, so many different forms of life. We could be any one of those. All of those have a soul. But it says that in this human form of life, only in this human form of life, does the soul actually have the ability to understand the absolute truth, to read the scriptures and to gain spiritual knowledge, and to fulfill the purpose, the mission of life, which is to get out of this material world and go back to the spiritual world, where our soul actually belongs. And so the scriptures very emphatically tell us that we should not waste this human form of life. Because if we are careless, then again we can fall back into lower forms of life where we don't have the opportunity for spiritual elevation, for spiritual understanding. And then it might take us millions and millions of years to again come to the human form of life. And who knows then if we'll have the chance to come in contact with the teachings of the scriptures, with the association of the devotees, with a wonderful temple like this. We have the Bhaktivedanta Manor. All of us are fortunate that we're not just human beings, but we also know about Krishna consciousness. We know about the scriptures. We're actually sitting right now here in the temple room. Of all the places that we could be, how many people are there in this room? It's like just a few. Everyone else is out there in the world doing all kinds of things. But we are so fortunate that we're sitting here in the temple and we're actually fulfilling the purpose of our human form of life, which is to gain knowledge of the absolute truth. And so it's said that we should really take advantage of this. Sometimes I see even like myself, I become like, you take it for granted. Yeah, I'm in the temple, yeah, Krishna's there. It's like, okay. But actually, it's such a rare opportunity. And when we see the deities, we should really see that this is Krishna. We should really pray to them deeply that, oh my Lord, you've given me this human form of life. Now please help me actually attain the goal of this life. Let me not waste this life. Let me not get distracted by all the things out there in the material world. Let me remain focused. Let me be in the association of your devotees and sincerely serve you. And in this way, let me perfect my life and attain true happiness. So yeah, we should be very, very focused in our spiritual activities, very sincere in our study of the scriptures, and ultimately also try to share this with everyone we know and everyone we meet, so that they can also have this knowledge and become actually happy in life, not spend their whole life working hard for things that ultimately are just going to frustrate them. So yeah, there's so much knowledge in these books. We just have to read them and sincerely try to follow them, and we'll experience so much amazing things in our life. So I'll stop here because we're running out of time. Arti is going to be soon. And yeah, if anyone has any questions or comments, we can. You had a question, right?
You answered it.
I answered it, okay. That's why we wait to the end of the class. Yes.
So you said about the purpose is to go to the spiritual world, right? So once you go to the spiritual world, does the soul remain there or could it fall back into the material world?
Yeah, so that's what Krishna says in this verse here. He says, those who reach it never return to this material world. It's clearly stated here. Yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. He says, once you go there, you don't come. No. It says because the soul, they learn the lessons in this material world. We've been through so much. It's like if one time we do something, like say we put our hand in fire, we get burned. Now we know I'll never put my hand in fire again. So yeah.
So how come, I don't know, how come I'm the lucky one, like one of the lucky people that's sitting in this temple, right? Like how come how does that work?
Yeah, so that they say there can be different reasons. One is that it says through many lifetimes we've been performing different activities. And so Krishna also describes in the Bhagavad Gita that whatever spiritual activities you do, that is never lost. So if in one of our lives we've done some good activities, some spiritual activities, in our next life we'll carry on from that platform. It says material things, we always start from zero. It's like when we're born, we don't know how to count even 1, 2, 3, 4. We have to learn it. We don't know how to say anything. We don't know how to walk even. We learn everything. But it says that spiritual assets, they're not like that. We're born with however much we left off in our last life. And so that is one case, that we can be carrying our spiritual bank balance basically from our previous lives. And so that's why in this life we're born in spiritual families, or we come in contact with spiritual people. And immediately we like almost remember, like, yeah, I know this. And we're very eager to practice. Then there can also be another way Like Prabhupada's disciples, they once asked Prabhupada that, we didn't have any previous spiritual benefit. We were born in the lowest, most materialistic families. We had no inclination to spiritual life. How is it that we became devotees? So then it's also explained that by the mercy of a devotee, someone who is not qualified can be given the chance to take up spiritual life. That the power of a devotee is so powerful that just by his willing, if he asked Krishna that, please help this person, they're suffering so much. And because that devotee is dear to Krishna, Krishna says, okay, if my devotee wants this person to become a devotee, then I will arrange that it becomes. So those are, yeah. Okay. Anything else? Okay, then we can stop here. Thank you very much. We'll have Aarti soon.
Jai Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Shri Radhe.
Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda
Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman
Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman
Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Jayo Gaura Chande Arati ke shobha Kiva Jaya Kiva Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Arati ke shobha Kiva Jaya Janavi tatavane Jagamanalobha Dakine tai chan Vame gadadhara Kibandaki Nikate Advaita Shine Vasa Chandradhara Koshi Ache Gaurachan Ratna Singhasane Arati kore na Brahma Adi Devagane Nara Hari Hari Kori Damadaduraya Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Gosha Adhigaya Shankha Baje Kanta Baje Baje Karatala Shankha Baje Kanta Baje Baje Karatala Shankha madhur 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 baje. Shankha baje, ghanta baje, madhur 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 baje. Madhur 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 baje. Madhur 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 baje. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Baho Koti Chandra Jine Vadana Ujwala. Gala de Sevana Mala Kore Jhala Mala. Deva Sukhana Radha Preme Gada Gada Shiva. Akati Vinoda Dekhe Gaura Sampada. Eva Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Aroti ke Shobha. Eva Jaya Jana Vitata Vane Naga Manalo Bha. Gaurangera Roti ki Shobha Jaga Jana Manalo Bha. Gaurangera Roti ki Shobha Jaga Jana Manalo Bha. Jaga Jana Manalo Bha. Jaga Jana Manalo Bha. Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Taminitu Namine Srimate Bhaktivedanta Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunya Bhari Pasatyada Sadarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhaktivedanta Jaya Shri Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhaktivedanta Jaya Shri Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radha Gokulananda Shri Radhe. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotra Sada Shri Srimad Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotra Sada Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Sakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Ki Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Gangamai Yamunamai Ki Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani Ki Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Samaveta Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Nitai Gaur Pramanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Now everyone can please be seated. We'll sing the prayers for Lord Nrsingadev.
Namaste Narasimhaya Namaste Narasimhaya Prahaladala Dadahine Prahaladala Dadahine Hiranyakashipurvakshaha Hiranyakashipurvakshaha Shilatangkanakalaye Shilatangkanakalaye Ito nirsimha parato nirsimho Ito nirsimha parato nirsimho Yato yato yami tato nirsimha Bahir nirsimho hridaye nirsimho Bahir nirsimho hridaye nirsimho Narasimha Madim Saranam Prapade Tava Kara Kamala Vari Nakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bhinga Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Avakara Kamala Varinaka Adbhuta Shringa Tava kara kamala varena kamadbhuta shringam Dalita hiranyakashipu tanu bhringam Keshavadita narahari rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Tava Kara Kamala Varena Kamadbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bhingam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Narahari Jaya Narahari Narahari Jaya Narahari Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki, Bhaktiraj Prahlad Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Dear devotees, the kirtan will continue till 9:30, so please be seated for the nice kirtan.